Obviously, most people going into Arizona are going to pronounce this Prescott. And equally obviously, since it made it into this list, that's not how you pronounce it. But how else can you say this? Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to place names, specifically place names that are blooming hard to say. Moving alphabetically, we've looked at Alabama, we've looked at Alaska, and today I'll be tripping myself up over some of those difficult to pronounce place names of Arizona. And for the first time in this series, I sought help from you, the audience, or as you'll be known henceforth, the Timeless 10. Basically, if you're from the next state in question, just post in the comments below or anywhere on social media your suggestions for tricky place names, and I'll choose 10 of you, usually the first 10, to be on my esteemed Timeless 10 list. So for example, here are the Timeless 10 from Arizona. Way to go, everybody. And the next state up is going to be Arkansas. So if you're from Arkansas and you think you're worthy of being on the Timeless 10, put your suggestions below. In the meantime, I'm going to go through this list of place names suggested by this week's Timeless 10. And if you're from Arizona or have friends and family there, be sure to share this video with them so that they can laugh at me while still acknowledging that I am a YouTube sensation and America's finest British import. Without further ado, let's try to pronounce some Arizona place names. Well, we like to start with a nice easy one in this series just to, get my confidence up, only to have it shot later down the road. And this one I know mostly because of Paul McCartney. He didn't personally tell me this, but he says this word in the song Get Back, and he says it as Tucson, Arizona, and far be it from me to take advice from a fellow Brit on how to pronounce this, so we're going to just confirm that that is indeed how it is said.
Tucson.
Tucson, 100% so far. Okay, Sahuarita. It sort of looks kind of Spanish, but there's an H in there instead of a J, which usually performs that same sound. So I don't know what I'm going with here. What I found in these pronunciation videos is that the place names in question often have weird emphasis that you didn't expect or something like that. So it could be that this is something like Sahuarita, or sometimes it's a vowel that's pronounced weirdly, like it could be Sahuarita or Sahuarita. Anything really, I've no idea. But I'm going to go with a weird emphasis. I think it is something like Sahuarita. This is embarrassing. Let's take a look.
Sahuarita.
Sahuarita. So I wasn't far off, but that is definitely a silent H. Oh, look at all those consonants. It's like we're in Wales, just with different letters. I mean, this looks really hard because something that I often find in these is that, you could have words with multiple syllables and it could be any one of those syllables that throws you off, or more than one syllable that throws you off. I'm just going to say it phonetically. Kaicoats movie. It feels like there's no other way to say this except phonetically as it's written. I'll bet it's that middle part. I bet it's Kaicoats movie. It could be that the Y functions as an E sound. Kaicoats movie. I'm going to go with Kaicoats movie. All right, we've got two here.
Kaicoats movie.
Kaicoats movie.
They're different. Which one's right? All right, Wikipedia says that it's Kaicoats movie. Is that right? Either way, I didn't get a point for that. What is that? It's like Attack of the Consonants all over again. I don't know if that was even a thing in the first place, but it is today. Right, one thing we learned with Sahuarita, that isn't how you say it, but we learned that if there's two vowels next to each other like that, one of them is redundant, and that's probably happening here. Right, we forget the O. The O is pointless. Kick it out. It's just Menkapi. You can keep the second O. It's probably needed. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just Menkapi. That can't be. That doesn't work. I'm going to go with the first. Menkapi.
Moenkopi.
The Moenkopi. Moenkopi.
Moenkopi as.
What? There doesn't seem to be a standardized agreement over this one. But nobody seems to be kicking out the O. Also, if you're from the region, let me know in the comments how it's actually said. All right, this one looks similar to the name Chile, right? The country. Is it that, just with an N in it? If this place were in the Midwest, it would be pronounced Chinel. Maybe we could go one further and pronounce it Chinel. I bet it is. I'm going to go with Chinel.
Chinley.
It is sort of like the country, Chile. Almost, not quite. Ooh, here we go, another shortish word ending in E. And if Chinley is anything to go by, I suspect that E on the end of the word renders the pronunciation something like Tempe instead of my initial belief, which was Tempe. And before I attempt to talk myself out of this, let's lock it in. I hate that phrase.
Tempe.
But hold on, because Wikipedia says that the stress is on the second syllable, which isn't true because the stress is on me. I'm stressed. I think I should get I'm not going to win anyway. Now this one was really popular with the Timeless 10, and I presume not for the word fort. That second word has got a U and an A next to each other, just like in Sahuarita. So if things are consistent, that first U is redundant. So I think it's pronounced Fort Huachuca, and if it isn't, you can call me Ethel.
Fort Huachuca.
No way! There's a silent H in it. I'm completely without hope, or should I say ope. This was another popular one, and reading it phonetically, you'd think that it said Wikiup. But again, American vowel sounds can be evil, so I think that this one is pronounced Wikiup, right? The clue is that they put an I and an E together, which makes me a language detective. So let's find out how good my credentials are.
Wikiup, Arizona.
Wikiup, Arizona.
Wikiup, Arizona. Wikiup, Arizona.
Okay, some are saying Wikiup and some are saying Wikiup, Arizona. Let me know in the comments below which is correct. Either way, I overthought it again. Ah yes, this was another popular one among the Timeless 10, Canyon de Chelly, which I presume is not the correct pronunciation. It's that last word that's going to throw us, isn't it? But I think something unusual is going to be happening here, probably, knowing this game. I think that those L's are silent. I think I'm going to do it. I am going to be brave. I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to drop those blooming L's. I think it is Canyon de Chelly. I don't know why I said that like an actor from the past.
Canyon de Chelly.
Oh, yes, I more or less did it.
Canyon de Chelly.
Stop talking now. Mongolian Rim, that's not my final answer, but Mongolian Rim sounds like somewhere that Luke Skywalker would hang out on Tatooine. Of course, we've got 3 O's in it, which causes me to go, ooh, I don't know the answer, so I'm just going to stall again for time. I think this is going to be a case of what do you emphasize? Or could we drop the L's? This is only the second instance where there have been 2 L's in a row, and the first instance we saw what happened then, didn't we? Eh? I think it's Mongolian Rim. Would that be right? Mongolian.
How do you say it? In English, this is said as Mongolian Rim.
Mongolian. All right, you have the best voice ever, but I'm going to have to stop you now. Well, I mean, it sounds like I was on the right track, but even I can't claim this one. And looking at Wikipedia, there's like 3 acceptable ways of pronouncing this. You've got Mogion, Mogion, or Mogojon. That is a tough one. Let me know in the comments below how you say it. The Timeless 10 were big fans of this one, and look at all of those O's. For that, you get an extended, ooh, what's Lawrence gonna do next? He's gonna sound it out, firstly. Tohono Udum, I just can't see it being that. I think that apostrophe does something. I think it makes the vowel sound special in some way. The apostrophe in between the 2 O's cancels out the O sound and makes a more of an ah. So I've no idea what I'm talking about. Let's find out what the real answer is.
The common pronunciation is Thono Autumn.
So there's good news and bad news. I more or less got the second part right, but I made a tremendous hash of the first part. Can I get half a point? Do we do that? We don't do that. Ah, right, another example of vowel pairing designed to throw English people like me off because, you know, my first instinct is I would say Sahuarita, kind of like how we'd say Dubois. Of course, this isn't from French, so that makes no sense. Could this be another example of an American place name that's pronounced a bit more Englishly than you'd expect? Is Englishly a word? It is now. If so, I'm going to guess Sonoita.
Sonoita.
Oh, I'm never doing that again, but yes, I am back in the game. Mathematically, that isn't true. Okay, this is the last one, and the reason it's last is it was the most requested place, not just among my Timeless 10, but just about everybody who submitted suggestions. And I feel like this has come up on a live stream before, and I learned the correct pronunciation of it, but I've since forgotten. Obviously, most people going into Arizona are going to pronounce this Prescott. And equally obviously, since it made it into this list, that's not how you pronounce it, but how else can you say this? Is it Prescott, like as in preschool? Does Arizona just not like double letters and we simply kick out the T's to form Presco? I really can't remember if I've heard this before, and if I did, what it was. I think I'm going to go with Prescott. So Prescott, Arizona is definitely how you pronounce it. I am confident 100%, and now let's see how wrong I am.
Locals, it's not Prescott, it's Prescott.
Prescott. Prescott. I want to go to Prescott and order a biscuit. and purposely mispronounced the name, but I daren't risk it. And so, as you can see, in addition to being a YouTube sensation, I am the world's 9 millionth best rap artist. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below how you did. Next up is Arkansas, so send those names my way. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I am brilliant. Did you write that? It's among your best work. Massive thank you as always to my patrons who make these videos possible. If you would like to support Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com/lostinthepond. Until the next video, goodbye.